call on the Honourable Member for Garth, Mr Smith.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. It is with some disappointment and deep concern that I rise today. Let me take a moment to put my concerns into context. In recent years, our island nation, together with the international community, has suffered some cataclysmic events that have resulted in a myriad of enduring consequences for both the state and its people. The failure of Lehman Brothers in 2008, which happened during an existing market decline throughout Northern Hemisphere developed nations, sent shockwaves through every international bank and financial institution. At the time, the International Monetary Fund concluded that it was the most severe economic and financial meltdown since the Great Depression in 1929. We experienced during August 2011 Black Monday, when United States and international stock markets crashed. Our island did not escape and was as significantly impacted by the effects of these major world financial events. Since then, we have witnessed and endured a global pandemic, and I am sure that I do not need to remind honourable members what impact this had upon our nation and its people. However, one significant fact worthy of note is that not only were our lives extensively impacted by the health implications of this pandemic, but our island's financial position was also severely impacted. COVID-19 initiated a global economic recession. The recession began in most countries in February 2020. After a year of global economic slowdown that saw stagnation of economic growth and consumer activity, the COVID-19 lockdowns and other precautions taken in early 2020 drove the global economy into an exceptionally serious predicament. Within 7 months, every advanced economy had fallen into recession. As a consequence of all these factors, world markets have witnessed a seismic shift. Our island and its people did not escape unscathed. This is a very brief and general overview of the landscape into which we, as elected members, arrived in September 2021. The energy crisis began in late 2021 as rising gas prices led to 29 UK household energy suppliers failing. Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine resulted in further spiralling energy prices, compelling both the UK and similarly our government to step in to support and subsidise consumers. The invasion of Ukraine began at dawn on 24th of February 2022. It was described as the biggest attack on a European country in the first full-scale ever war in Europe since the Second World War. Sadly, and with great regret, that conflict continues today. Also, additional inflationary pressures and the cost of living emergency during this period have done nothing to assist matters. Although we rightly, proudly and fiercely defend our island's independence, as a nation, we are not aloof from international events which happen around us. We do not live in isolation, and we must accept that we are not immune to outside influences which will continually pose threats and challenges to our local economy and the people of our island. The fiscal stability of our island is continually under review from international regulatory bodies, and we have to relentlessly and unceasingly demonstrate that we are adhering to the set criteria and policies that accede to us meeting exceptionally exacting international standards. Political stability also forms a crucial element when negotiating these international standards. Anything that is seen or perceived to be contrary to this only serves to undermine the whole, completely demoralises all those associated with it, and importantly, the possible implications could be dire. Mr. Speaker, the consequences of the issues I mentioned have and continue to have significant repercussions through our local economy, be it in agriculture, construction, education, emergency services, housing, hotels, hospitality, tourism, and by no means least our health and social care sector. No one has been untouched or escaped. No corporate entity, no small business, no individual, nor indeed government. Everyone is bearing the scars of deep financial and social injuries inflicted from the events of recent years. Note, I said scars purposely because I believe we are now witnessing healing wounds. Our economy is rebuilding as proven by latest statistics, and we are witnessing positive and confident actions being taken towards an optimistic future. So I ask myself, recognising the task undertaken by someone who has had to not only live through, but contend with, in the national interest, all the ramifications linked to the events of recent years, seriously, is now the right time to change the guard. What impact could that have upon our economy? What perception will be portrayed internationally? I have to say this motion reminds me somewhat of a coup d'etat. Is it fair to say that all issues have arisen are the total responsibility or can be laid at the door of one individual? We do not live under a dictatorship. We are a parliament of consensus. If there is such discontent, should this discussion be more overarching and encompassing? We continually to have extremely urgent, important and complex issues to address, and I believe it is now time to put personalities to one side, pull together and work for the best interests of our island and its people. We are all deployed throughout various parts of this administration, and it is incumbent upon each one of us to fully engage in a positive and collegiate way and equally accept and demonstrate some joint responsibility and accountability. We need to focus all our energy on the ultimate goals and not the many distractions that will almost certainly arise along the way. Mr. Speaker, quoquenque jacere stabit, whichever way you throw us, we will stand, be that as a nation or as an individual. Guramayu.